All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Thanks for checking the video out today. We're talking about Spider-Man 2. The reviews are officially out, and it's really good news. Now, I think for a lot of people, they've already determined that they're going to be playing Spider-Man 2 no matter what. I think a lot of people already have the game pre-ordered, and I think a lot of people have this feeling that regardless of how it reviews, still going to play the game. I agree with that. That's how I feel. But at the same time, I think everyone's kind of curious to know, how is this game going to review? Is it going to live up to the hype? Is it going to meet the expectation? Well, I'm happy to let you know that it seemingly has. Spider-Man 2 is sitting at a 91 on Metacritic, and it's actually Insomniac's highest rated game ever. It's also worth pointing out that this 91 that Spider-Man 2 achieved on Metacritic was with 122 total reviews, and there might even be a few more that are a little bit late. And that's a lot of reviews, right? That's a lot of opportunity to get a mixed review or a negative review. And what's even more impressive is that out of all these reviews, the 122 reviews, not a single one is mixed or negative. Every single review is positive and in the green. So it's safe to say that Insomniac absolutely delivered a great game here with Spider-Man 2. I understand that maybe Spider-Man 2 isn't going to appeal to everybody because not everybody is into Spider-Man or into Marvel, but I think a lot of people are. I think that's obvious. And, you know, you look at what Insomniac achieved with Spider-Man 2018, you look at what they achieved with Miles Morales, and even with Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. I mean, it's not a Spider-Man game, obviously, but a lot of people were very impressed that Rift Apart was able to release as soon as it did and was impressive as it was. And generally speaking, Insomniac has had an incredible track record of delivering these high-quality, polished experiences in rapid succession. It's actually kind of crazy. And here we are again, with Insomniac doing it once again with Spider-Man 2. And a couple things that I want to point out here when it comes to the Spider-Man 2 reviews, and obviously we're not going to be spoiling anything, but some of the standout things that are being pointed out by reviewers. Number one is the narrative. The narrative of this game is getting immense praise. A lot of reviewers are saying that this is easily the best narrative that Insomniac has ever created and the best story they've told yet. And it really elevates the game to new heights and is going to be a very memorable game because of that. Now, for me, that's very exciting to hear, right? I enjoyed the story and the narrative of Spider-Man 2018 as well as Miles Morales, but I always kind of got this sense with Spider-Man 2 based off of all the marketing and everything that Insomniac was showing us that they're gonna, you know, try to not necessarily go in a completely different direction, but take things in a slightly new direction that, you know, leads to a more complex story, a more emotional story, just maybe a darker story in general. And that honestly has gotten me very excited about Spider-Man 2. So it's really good to hear with these reviews that Insomniac has seemingly done that. Something else that I've been seeing this game get a lot of praise for is the polish it is releasing with. I mean, 2023 has been a year with many games releasing that are struggling, right? Many games lacking that polish, having a lot of technical issues, and it's really just not been a good year. And so to see a studio like Insomniac, with obviously a lot of pressure to deliver with this game, come out and the game isn't just running well, it's running extremely well. I mean, this game is like polished to a mere sheen based off of everything I'm hearing. And Digital Foundry did their analysis and they can back that up. They can confirm that. In fact, Digital Foundry was pretty impressed with what Insomniac was able to achieve here. As we know, ray tracing is turned on at all times, regardless of which mode you're playing in, fidelity or performance. And you can play at the 40 FPS performance mode, or fidelity mode, I should say. And you can, you know, play in the 120 hertz. It's the complete package. And it's, I think, doubly impressive when you consider that Spider-Man 2 is the first true PS5 only game outside of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart and something like Demon's Souls and Returnal, this is a game that, it being open world, a lot of people, people have a lot of expectation, right? People are expecting some really great things from Insomniac here. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that there was every opportunity here for them to maybe underwhelm or underdeliver in some cases. I think it's not necessarily such a bad thing when the worst thing you're hearing from the negative side of, talk about how good Spider-Man 2 is in these reviews. What are the negatives? What are the cons here? The only two things that I've heard, number one, is that, well, it's the same city. I think that's a little bit strange. I mean, I kind of understand that this being the third game, especially in such rapid succession, maybe some people are feeling like, okay, well, this is like too familiar at this point. But I think most people are not going to have a problem with this, right? I think most people are going to feel, well, of course, it's Spider-Man. It's going to be set in New York, right? Like, what do you expect them to do? But the only other thing is some reviewers were complaining a little bit about side quests and saying that they were just kind of underwhelming and just felt like busy work. Now, maybe that's how some people are going to feel. I'm going to wait till I play it myself, obviously, to determine if I agree with that or not. But when I consider all the things that maybe could have went wrong or the things that they could have underdelivered on, it seems to me like Insomniac got the most important things right here. They're coming in with a, packed story with some, characters that are really going to bring the game to life and make it a very memorable experience. The gameplay has obviously improved, it's refined, and the technical performance is amazing. So it's like, okay, if the biggest complaint is that, well, it's set in New York still, and even though it's bigger, they're saying that the bigger doesn't necessarily change the gameplay dynamics, right? Like the fact that there's more area to explore. I still think it's cool. I think it's like the natural progression that you could expect with a game like Spider-Man 2 from what I'm hearing. And if the worst thing we're hearing basically is that the side quests are a little bit underwhelming, not the worst thing, right? Certainly not the worst thing. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of take a little bit of time here and talk about this. I did a stream yesterday covering this, and a lot of you guys showed up for that, but I know not everybody wants to watch the stream. So I wanted to make sure to do a dedicated video just kind of highlighting some of the great things that reviewers are saying about Spider-Man 2. And I guess I'll end this video by saying I don't think any of this is surprising, right? Insomniac has proven just how talented of a studio they are, and I think right now they definitely have the crown at PlayStation Studios. Don't get me wrong, every PlayStation studio is talented, seemingly, and obviously we think of Sony Santa Monica, what they did with God of War Ragnarok, we think of Naughty Dog, we think of Sucker Punch, we think of Guerrilla Games, of course, but right now it just seems to me that Insomniac is doing, as I always say, the heavy lifting for Sony and for the PS5, and to see them coming out here and doing it again, it's very impressive, man. It is. I think Sony acquiring Insomniac, it made a lot of sense because of their history together and how well they work together, but man, was this a smart move by Sony, and it's really, I think, paying off for them in a big way, and I think it's paying off for Insomniac. Insomniac even says that they feel like they've become a better studio since they've been acquired by Sony. So it's a really good match here, and I'm honestly more excited now for Spider-Man 2. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I was already going to buy this game and play it no matter what. The reviews were not going to determine that for me, but it's just really reassuring and, just a nice confidence boost, I guess, to see that, yeah, this is their highest reviewed game and it's getting a lot of praise and people are really thoroughly enjoying it. So yeah, congratulations to Insomniac, man. I'm sure they're thrilled to see that Spider-Man 2, you could tell they probably poured their heart and soul into this game, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I'm sure they're thrilled to see that they've achieved a 91. I think a lot of people were thinking that Spider-Man 2 was going to land in the high 80s or maybe even the mid 80s, which I totally understand that. That seems to be what Insomniac is kind of known for, right? With Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Miles, and Spider-Man 2018, for as good as these games were, they couldn't really crack that 90 or higher on Metacritic. So it's really awesome to see that they finally achieved it. It seems like it's well earned well deserved. And yeah, this game is going to do incredibly well. There's no doubt that Spider-Man 2 is going to sell like crazy. It's going to move a lot of units. I wouldn't be surprised if Sony ends up announcing that it breaks some kind of record for them, or at the very least sets some kind of new record for a holiday season, and just how well they did. So there you go. Just wanted to talk to you guys about this. Very excited for Spider-Man 2. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. I'll be interested to read what you have to say. Be sure to leave the video a like if you enjoyed it or found it informative. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.